I will first present the bill, then give 3 principles to support the bill. The bill before the House today is that Santa Claus is better for children than the Tooth Fairy. Before I present my principles, I would like to point out that for the purpose of this debate, we are operating under the assumption that Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy are real and not imagined. Now, on to my first principle. Santa delivers physical presents and gifts in the form of lessons. The Tooth Fairy delivers cash. Millions of children throughout the world spend hours crafting carefully worded lists of gifts they select. Christmas, in a Christian form, has been celebrated for thousands of years. It is a time to spend with family and to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. Santa Claus delivers the presents they selected to all the children of the world in one night. Santa teaches the importance of giving to those who are good and brings families closer together. My second example is that the Tooth Fairy only gives money. With money, you can buy almost anything. Drugs, alcohol, guns. Children these days are exposed to all of these things. Ladies and gentlemen, this may be hard to believe, but most children do not lose their last tooth until they are 13. Do you know how many people will buy alcohol for children, only taking a small portion of the money? Or how easy it is to come upon a drug dealer in your own neighborhood? The fact is, the Tooth Fairy enables bad behavior. Santa asks specifically what a child wants and gives him or her only that, giving the child little to no opportunity to indulge harmful behaviors. Now, on to my second principle. Santa promotes good behavior, while the Tooth Fairy is indifferent. Under this principle, I have 2 examples. My first example is that Santa rewards good behavior. Everyone has heard of Santa's naughty list. It is a list of children who misbehave over the year. Instead of presents, the children on the naughty list receive nothing but coal in their stockings hung above the fireplace. It teaches kids that there are consequences for bad behavior. It prepares them for the real world. While Santa is rewarding the good children on this earth, the Tooth Fairy rewards every child who loses a tooth, whether or not they are well behaved, sending the message that one could be rewarded despite bad behaviors. My second example is that Santa encourages positive attitudes. Santa, whether in the mall visiting children or at his workshop, is always very jolly. Along with the enormous responsibility of working at the toy factory in the North Pole, he manages hundreds of elves and takes care of his reindeer. He is a very busy man, but he does it all with a smile. He teaches kids that no matter how hard your job is or how much pressure you are under, you can still be happy if you are positive about it. Furthermore, Santa shows children that hard work does pay off. Santa's preparation for Christmas is not a walk in the park. There's a lot of work to make the lists, read the letters, design the toys, and deliver them on Christmas to every single good child, but Santa never gives up. He perseveres, knowing that the smiling faces and bright eyes of the children when they open their presents will make it all worth it. This leads me to my third principle. Santa Claus brings joy and happiness, while the Tooth Fairy is the angel of pain. Under this principle, I have 2 examples. My first example is that Christmas is associated with happiness, while the Tooth Fairy is associated with the pain of losing a tooth. For young children, Christmas is a magical time. There are decorations throughout the house, a Christmas tree in the living room, with a glistening star resting at the top. Nobody, especially children, wants this season to end. On Christmas morning, there are smiles all around the world. People are happy. They're together. While Christmas is a happy time, the matter of losing a tooth is usually not. The fact is, it hurts. You are literally ripping part of your body out. The tooth fairy draws the bridge between pain and gain, leading children to believe that pain can be rewarded. This can be dangerous and can lead to irresponsible actions later in life. My second example is that the act of giving presents has positive effects, while money leads to irresponsible actions. The presents that Santa brings have a lasting effect on a child's morale. Alex Palmer, PhD, conducted a study on the effects of receiving gifts on morale. He found that, quote, 75% of people receiving holiday gifts had improved morale, 60% were found to have a boost of confidence, and 34% said it improved their productivity, end quote. Oppositely, money, such as which the tooth fairy gives, can have a negative impact on one's personality. A study done by Dr. Alyssa Kirkham on whether there is a connection between wealth and greed showed that, quote, 55% of respondents viewed the rich as more likely to be greedy and dishonest than the average American. Money is meant to be earned. Losing teeth is a normal, natural thing to happen to a young child. We're basically rewarding them for being born. People work hard for their money, and the tooth fairy is just handing it out on a silver platter. While Santa is boosting the morale and productivity of children everywhere, the tooth fairy is setting children up to be greedy and dishonest. For all these reasons, the bill should stand. I now open for cross-examination.
Does Santa give children what they have asked for?
Yes.
If a child asks for a water gun, would Santa give it to them?
Of course.
If a famished child in Somalia asked for a water gun, would Santa give that to them instead of the food they need to survive?
Yes, because Santa might not be aware of the rest of the situation going on in that child's life.
If Santa is not aware of the rest of the child's life, how can Santa decide who's naughty and nice?
He only knows what the elves tell him. They may not have mentioned it.
Would a good manager listen blindly to his elves?
If Santa thinks that an elf is not telling the full truth or untrustworthy, he will take the investigation into his own hands.
Does Santa pay his workers?
And candy canes.
Can elves isolated in the North Pole live off the candy canes?
Well, Santa provides everything. He provides housing, food, everything that they ask for. They asked to be paid in candy canes, so Santa provided.
When is Santa's main work?
Around Christmas, but he does work year-round preparing.
But when is his main work?
Around Christmas.
Would you want a seasonal worker as a model for your children?
As I said, Santa, his main work is in the winter, but he prepares the toys year-round. I don't think it's possible to create millions of toys for the children across America in 1 month.
I have no further questions. Madam Speaker, as leader of the opposition, I will first refute side government and then present my 4 principles which oppose the bill. Now to my refutation. Side government stated that the tooth fairy's giving of money, not presents, gives unfettered access to contraband. This assumes that the child in question's parents do not monitor their children. Madam Speaker, I think we should give parents enough credit to say that they wouldn't let their children buy anything with tooth fairy money that they wouldn't with allowance or other income. Furthermore, tooth fairy money is simply not enough to obtain such items. Children lose 20 baby teeth, which, with an average of 25 cents per tooth, is only $5 of income. That is enough to put in a piggy bank or buy some candy, but certainly not enough to purchase the horrendous examples that side government proposed. Lastly, side government stated that Santa gives children whatever that child asks for. If a child is inclined to use tooth fairy money to purchase illegal or harmful items, what's to say that they wouldn't request the same from Santa? Side government also stated that Santa rewards children for good. As I will expand on later in my principles, this promotes greed, not selflessness. Finally, side government stated that the tooth fairy is an angel of pain. Madam Speaker, the tooth fairy is not responsible for the pain of losing a tooth. The tooth fairy is responsible for the joy afterwards. This leads me directly to my 4 principles. My first principle is that the tooth fairy gives a silver lining to every cloud. The tooth fairy is not an angel of pain. The tooth fairy amends the pain. Giving children something to look forward to makes children less afraid. It gives them courage because they have hope in the face of adversity. And in today's world, our children need that hope. It allows them to take risks later because they can remember that no matter how much it hurts now, it's worth it to struggle through. Madam Speaker, the tooth fairy is the angel of it gets better. My second principle is that the tooth fairy is secular and accessible. Under this, I have 3 examples. The tooth fairy, unlike Santa, is not known for any particular gender, religion, or appearance. First, by not exposing their gender, the tooth fairy allows children of any gender to feel supported by and connected to this figure. Second, by keeping their appearance secret, the tooth fairy tells children that no matter what they look like, they can do great things with their lives. Finally, by not having religious identities, the tooth fairy shows that religion shouldn't affect the way anyone is treated. Because they are secular and not affiliated with any holiday, the tooth fairy is accessible to children of all religions and belief systems. My third principle, Madam Speaker, is that Santa is not a good model for children. And under this, I have 4 examples. First, Santa promotes greed. He teaches children to behave well and do good deeds, not for the sake of selflessness, but for the reward of a gift. Madam Speaker, in the real world, you don't get presents for being a good person. My second example is that Santa promotes gender norms. As a prominent, powerful figure whose wife stays at home, out of the way of the media, Santa reinforces stereotypes about the role of gender in the home and the workplace. Finally, Santa is a model of one of the most problematic health epidemics in the first world, obesity. Not only is Santa known for being overweight, he is known for eating billions of cookies on Christmas. And that's the only thing children hear about him eating. This cookie conundrum leads me to my 4th and final principle. Santa breaks the law. Under this, I have 4 examples. First, let's discuss Santa's activities in the home. Yes, he breaks and enters, but the tooth fairy does too, and I acknowledge this as common ground. The important difference is what they do inside the home. And it is there that the cookie complication arises. While the tooth fairy generously gives money without expecting anything in return, Santa seems to think that his delivery of presents entitles him to steal families' cookies. He assumes that any cookies left out are for him, and is therefore putting social convention above the law. But this is the least of his unlawful actions, because secondly, Santa speeds. With a conservative estimate of 2 children per family and 31 hours to work in because of time zones, Santa has to travel at 23 million miles per hour. Madam Speaker, this is clearly breaking the speed limit. Except, wait, there isn't a speed limit in the air, because Santa has such uncontended influence that no one dares take action against him. He is a model of corruption. Either way, at 23 million miles per hour, Santa is an airborne hazard. And his weight from eating all those cookies certainly won't help to minimize damages should a crash occur. Santa is not just a potential danger, however. Santa is damaging very real lives at this moment. Let's take a moment to consider the elf workers he employs. The elf population is simply not large enough to have enough adult workers to manufacture presents for almost 2 billion children. In order to get this job done, Santa must be overworking his elves and could even be using child labor. Not to mention wages. Apparently, Santa pays his elves merely in caves filled with candy canes. Finally, Santa abuses animals. Think of his reindeer forced to fly at crippling speeds for 31 hours straight, more than 3 times longer than most human workdays. We've all heard about the same reindeer, Donner and Vixen and so on, as our parents did, and their parents before them. These reindeers must be decades old. Santa is taking advantage of elderly, worn-out animals. Animals that are happy in the tundra, not in the air. Madam Speaker, it's no wonder Rudolph didn't want to join in any reindeer games. Thank you. I am now open to cross-examination.
Nobody has ever seen your tooth fairy.
The tooth fairy wants to remain gender neutral and appearance neutral to be accessible.
Is there perhaps a hidden reason for this?
No.
Where does your tooth fairy get all her money?
The tooth fairy has time during the day for a steady and lucrative job.
How does somebody the size of my fist hold a stable job?
Size is not always power.
How does your tooth fairy get in the house?
The tooth fairy enters as illegally as Santa does.
Does your tooth fairy really exist?
This is operating on rumors alone. Of course the tooth fairy exists.
And which rumors would you be referring to?
No rumors. No rumors at all.
No further questions. Side opposition stated that Santa is secular to one religion. This, however, is not true. Santa has many different personas and delivers presents to children of many different religions. Some examples of his personas include Hanukkah Harry, Lent Leonardo, and Kwanzaa Christopher. Side opposition also stated that Santa is not a good role model. As I said earlier, Santa rewards kids for being good. He rewards good behavior. The tooth fairy gives money to kids for doing nothing. The tooth fairy is so much better than Santa. Tell me, does she get cookies from every single household she goes to? No. All she gets is a tooth. Lastly, side opposition stated that children do not get enough money from the tooth fairy to buy things such as drugs and alcohol. However, I know people who receive $20 per tooth. Think about 20 teeth, $20 each. That's more than enough to buy any of these things. Along with this, it was stated that parents would not let their child purchase these things. Parents cannot physically monitor their child 100% of the time, so it would be possible to purchase these items. Thank you.